Hold on now. What did I just do? Okay. Uh, what happened? What did I just press? Why I have like two? Eh? Y'all can still see my iPad screen or not? I don't know what I pressed just now. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me try again. Okay, go back normal already. Your cat's so cute. But my cat is not here right now. Afternoon time, they go downstairs. Yeah, okay. So if you're lucky, my cat comes up, then you will see him, okay, or see her. I have two cats. All right. Now, let's begin the session. I was talking about our session for today, right? Okay. Now, usually my tuition classes are 1.5 hours. So actually, the seminar doesn't have a lot of different stuff because our seminar session is 2 hours long, which is 30 minutes more than the usual class. So for my usual students, you wouldn't find it very tough to sit in for 2 hours lah, because my class usually are that long. Okay, but if it's your first time joining my account class, then maybe for you, you will feel a bit tough because it's 2 hours long. Okay, but I'm sure that the time will pass very quickly because we only will get to do two full questions. Okay, I don't think it's a full question as well because in my Mandarin session earlier at 10 a.m., we only did solving one question and then we did a full question at the end. So that's why total is 1.5 full question lah, I would say that. Okay, right. So for the beginning of the class, just to introduce you all about the nota first lah. Okay, now what you can find in our midterm seminar notes is that we covered 3 chapters for you. So we put in chapter 1, chapter 2, and also chapter 3, all of form 5. Now, of course, I know it's a midterm exam for you guys. Then surely your form 4 chapters are going to come out in the exam itself. So, but then since midterm seminar, we only can have 2 hours time. We didn't put in form 4 topics. We only cover chapter from form 5. Okay. Now, of course, if you are available during my form 4 seminar sessions, feel free to come and revise your form 4 as well as my form 4 seminar will be during, let me see. My form 4 seminar will be on the 27th of April. If you realize that you have no subjects during that time for your form 5, then you can come for my form 4 classes to revise because mainly for form 4, we do basics like chapter 2, talk about klasifikasi account, asset liability, equity pemilik. Now, if you feel like you're still very weak on that, you can come and revise, come and listen. Even without the notes, it's also okay because you just want to recap on what you learned in Form 4 lah. If you want to do that, sure. Okay, right. So for today, I only choose two main topics to cover. That is our chapter 2.2, okay, and also penyata penyesuaian bank chapter 3.1. I will be doing these two things lah, okay? But apparently some of the school teachers haven't started teaching chapter 3 yet, okay? If your school happen to be that slow, then I can expect you to be having it soon lah in your school. Then maybe your midterm exam will cover up to chapter 3. But usually exams, of course, school will differ one. It doesn't mean that all schools will be the same. That's why you can go according to your school teacher's pace law, okay? But I will cover based on my majority students' school syllabus. Most of them actually have exams up to chapter 5, that is Syarikat Berhad. So it's pretty far away lah. If your school teacher already said that the exam is going to be until chapter 3, then you're so lucky because you only have a few topics to cover. Okay, yeah? Right, come, let's begin. Starting with chapter 2, I would like to make the explanations on this page here, okay, on the first page. And since it's a blank page, I think we can just fill up there. I will talk about chapter 2.2 first lah, okay. And after we finish this explanation, I will move on to penyata penyesuaian bank next. Is that okay? Now, I just want to double confirm. Are you guys ready? Shall we begin? Everything good for you all? Yes, okay. So you guys are okay lah. Usually we do this in class a lot, okay? And seminar, right? Usually I would cover longer chapters because short chapters you could easily revise by your own, but the long chapters are the tough one, okay? But for record tak lengkap, I wouldn't go straight to analysis first, okay? I will also talk about kaedah perbandingan because they are kind of related to each other. Okay, so for record tak lengkap, The meaning of this chapter is now we have incomplete record. So there are things that are missing lah, okay? But to be exact, what are the items missing from the record? I say usually is one thing. Missing untung bersih. Okay, they will want that. But of course, it doesn't need to be always untung bersih lah. It can also be rugi bersih if they wanted to. So we just kind of put as a concept first. Okay, you're trying to find untung bersih from there. But record tak lengkap, it really depends on what the boss can provide to you, because sometimes it's caused by maybe banjir, okay, banjir kilat, everything is broken, my records is all into the waters, cannot find them already. So, but the information they still have remained of asset and liability, they can provide to you. Then we will use the method perbandingan. But if they can give you complete record like asset, liability, EP, belanja, and hasil, all of them, then we will use kaedah analysis. So it depends on what they can give you. Okay. Now for kaedah perbandingan, we use A, L, EP. Okay, you only use 3. Kaedah analysis, you will use all. Asset, liability, EP, hasil, dengan belanja. All 5. So in kaedah perbandingan, you will not use hasil, not use belanja. Is that all right? So we only pick A, L, and EP to solve. So let's begin with the steps, okay? Total, right, for no matter record tak lengkap perbandingan or analysis, we will use 4 steps, okay, as a guide. So starting with record tak lengkap perbandingan. First one, all right. So for the first step, step number 1, you are required to cari model awal. Okay, now this is the same as how you do in Form 4 also, okay? Model awal is representing this klasifikasi. EP. So means that in your question, right, they don't provide you EP at the first place, okay? They will only give you asset and liability. So your task is to actually use the Form 4 way to find your model like usual, okay? So the formula will be asset tolak liability. So that's your first step, okay? Step 1, cari model awal. Now, step 2. Step 2, maklumat tambahan. You will go to your maklumat tambahan and start solving their problems. But for maklumat tambahan, right, what we are aiming to do is all of the pelarasan. So pelarasan that covers like susut nilai, hutang lapor terpulih, PHR, as well as terkurang terlebih. Now we have all of this as well. But do we need to complete both the steps that are stated in the pelarasan? I would say no, because this chapter, for perbandingan method, we only focuses on assets and liability, even for EP only. So you have any hasil or belanja, right? You can say it is part of the process, but we won't label it. So you do everything. Do one step each related to asset, liability, EP. Only do 2 steps if stated belum direkod. So we have to look for keywords lah, okay? And somehow it's not that every time they say belum record means you have to do 2 steps, you know. Even when they say belum record, but you realizes that the 2 steps are maybe one asset semasa, one is hasil. What does it mean? You don't need to do the hasil version because we don't need it, okay? So you just focus on what is related to asset, liability, or EP, then we solve them, okay? Now, once you finish with your maklumat tambahan, then it's time for step number 3. Step 3. Cari model AQ. Also EP. Also to take asset tolak liability. But the difference here is we will be using selepas pelarasan. Okay, so my students ask me why must it always be selepas pelarasan? Because when you're talking about AQ, right? AQ means end of the year. Then of course, whatever changes throughout this year of happen to your asset and liability, you have to update it, right? So it's just like I tell you at the beginning of the year, your assets as a bank, 10,000. Okay, now throughout 12 months, will your bank still remain 10,000? Of course not. So over here, if there are any changes to your bank, then you have to make the pelarasan on it, right? So which is why the assets and the liability that you take must make sure is after pelarasan, which means that you cannot terbalik the step lah. You cannot tell me that, oh, step 1, I do model awal. Step 2, I straight away do model RQ. Cannot. So because it has to be after pelarasan. Okay. So once these are all done, the main component of kaedah perbandingan is found already. We have our model awal. We also have our model RQ. So remember, the whole point of chapter 2, right, is to find untung bersih, correct? So when they do not provide me hasil and belanja, what is the method that you can find untung bersih from? Think outside of the box. We also have this section, to be exact, EP, that involves untung bersih, right? So that is why in your last step, step 4, cari untung bersih by having model RQ compare with model awal. So the exact formula is actually just RQ to tolak awal. But then of course in between of it, you might find additional things such as model tambahan, ambilan, correct? So if we do have that, then you include. Okay, so the whole concept is because usually our equity formula works like this, right? Model awal to begin. Okay, now what comes after model awal? We will tambah untung bersih. So in this chapter, we might have model tambahan, last tolak ambilan. You get model RQ. So the concept now is that I have the beginning, I have the end. So I just need to terbalikkan the equation so I can find what's in between of it, right? Which is the untung bersih. So even without the model tambahan, without the ambilan, it's also fine. But where exactly are we looking at for model tambahan and ambilan? Actually, it's also from the process of pelarasan earlier dalam langkah 2, okay, in your step 2. While you are doing pelarasan, you might also find EP items such as ambilan dengan model tambahan. So these two, right, keywords go by bawa masuk ataupun ambil. So if you do see this, then you can put them inside of the processor. So you see now I'm doing the balik version of it, yeah? We are going to start all the way from model RQ. We reverse the process back into ambilan. So you see guys, when I reverse it, right, of course the equation, the symbol wouldn't be the same anymore. At first we used to minus ambilan to get model RQ. Now I don't want it. I want to reverse it. So from negative, it will become positive. We go back, okay? Go back. So as we proceed back to model tambahan, tambahan used to be positive, but now I reverse, so it become negative already in our third item, model tambahan. And then now as I proceed to untung bersih, I'm stuck because I have no answer for untung bersih, right? I don't have this number. Exactly why we are doing kaedah perbandingan. So the method is just keep untung bersih, go to number 4, model awal, continue to minus. Okay, so once you are able to do that, minus already, so answer comes out to be untung ataupun rugi bersih. So your process is to cari untung bersih, you will do terbalik version of your EP. So become this way. Model RQ to start, tambah ambilan, tolak model tambahan, dan model awal. Answer is untung bersih. Okay, so that is the final step. So once you have finished up, you found your untung bersih already, then they will make you write your answers into PKK. So you only do one format of the penyata kewangan. Sediakan penyata kedudukan kewangan. Alright, so this is for kaedah perbandingan. Now we're going to talk about kaedah analysis by the side. Hopefully we have enough space now, okay, hopefully. Right, so I'm going to put it like this. So I'll just remove those dots from this side because we're wasting our space, okay. Come, so now is record tak lengkap analysis. Now, I will cut short my explanation because for analysis, right, I can explain, I can keep going on with it, but we might spend too much time on the explanation and no time for actual test out. So that's why I will explain the basics of it, and then we use the question as an example. Okay, yeah? So for record tak lengkap analysis, also 4 steps, but they aim to have everything found. So I want all of the hasil, belanja, I want all of the asset, liability, and equity per minute. So means your format, your final answer in the end will be sediakan account perdagangan untung rugi 3K. So they will ask for 2 reports instead of 1. Is that okay? So it's more troublesome than the kaedah perbandingan already. Okay, so now we're going to start with step 1. Now, for step 1, it will be 2 small steps combined together. We do together because you want to save time. So mainly it's by your calculator because it's very quick. Number 1 will be cari bank. To be exact, the baki HP of it. Okay, now to be exact, why we are looking for bank at first is because bank's baki HP is found using baki BB bank tambah dengan semua penerimaan wang tolak bayaran. I wanted to write the full name, but I really cannot fit, okay? So I just put bayaran lah, is that right? So these 2 things are found from where? These 2 will be found from buku tunai. So penerimaan, you can find from the debit side of buku tunai. Pembayaran, you found from credit side. So if you want it to be more exact, I explain in an easier way. To find your bank is just to look at the entire buku tunai section. Whatever on the left will compare to whatever on the right. So you find out what is the balance for me. This is in advance, so you can use your bank later as asset semasa. Now, the reason is because in your buku tunai, all of the money received and paid are considered as hasil dengan belanja. But are they true figures yet? No, you have to do pelarasan to aim to get the sebenar. So now the problem is, if I didn't get my bank's baki HP at first, then I did my pelarasan. What happened later is, as I come back to find my HP again, all of the penerimaan and the pembayaran will become sepatutnya diterima. Sepatutnya dibayar is no longer the amount you truly paid or you truly received. So that's why here, in order to keep the originality of the bank, we will first do it without the pelarasan. Okay, so take the original buku tunai. Now, once you found the bank already, next we'll do something like the kaedah perbandingan. Cari model awal as first. So I would say it depends lah. If the question already give you, then you don't have to find model awal. Okay, so just leave it as it is. Asset tolak liability. Yeah, here just to give a bit of guideline, must include bank. So why I say that is because usually in record tak lengkap, I've seen so many questions before. They love to miss out bank within the list of assets. So they give you everything except for the bank there, which is so important because for a business, right, at least one kind of money must be available, your bank account. If you don't have bank, at least tunai must be there, right? But you ask me between the two, tunai dengan bank, which one is more commonly used? Of course, it's bank because you put a lot of money there, right? So that's why at first, when you are calculating your model awal, you have to ensure the list is including bank. If it's not, then you do it yourself. You add on the bank number. Okay, yeah? Now, after step 1, step 2 will be pelarasan. So the pelarasan that we're talking about here, right, is the same as what you do in kaedah perbandingan, but mostly covers 2 steps, okay? But you need to make sure it comes with from 2 places. Number 1 is the standard maklumat tambahan. Of course, you will have to do that, maklumat tambahan. The second one is you look from the baki area where it's given 1st January, 31st December, for an example, okay? So you see these dates given. Now, you must understand that the 2 different dates, right, represents 2 kinds of balance. Baki BB for 1st Jan, Baki HP for 31st December. So they are of a different timeline. One is coming from last year, one is what's left of this year end. Okay. Now in Baki area, just look for 2 things. Example, you see gaji. Okay, then you find it very suspicious already. Because for a belanja type, right, it's not supposed to have baki one. Unless the gaji now is this prabaya. And then it's normal because gaji prabaya is considered asset. Then of course, having a baki is very normal. Last year I paid in advance, so this year it will show in my reports. Okay, gaji prabaya. Or maybe you take note on kenderaan. Okay, so how you sense there's a pelarasan happening in the list is when gaji prabaya, the moment you see any belanja or hasil's name appear here, means there are adjustments to be done. So what you remember to do is prabaya considered as terlebih. So when it's too much during year end, we will tolak. But the beginning of the year, they will do the opposite because BB and HB never sit on the same side. So they will be opposite symbol. You just need to remember 31st December to be exact. Okay. Now the second one is the kenderaan. If you ever see having different numbers, in front is 50K, behind is 35K. It's totally not normal because kenderaan is an ABS. Asset bukan semasa go with the principal cost. Means that no matter how long you have used your ABS, the value must remain. If you want it to update, you can only put it at susut nilai terkumpul separately, not to directly cut the amount. Okay, so that's why now the moment there is a difference between the baki BB dengan baki HB, just know that this is a way of telling you there is susut nilai happening. Okay, so the susut nilai is equals to 50K minus 35K, 15,000. And if you are able to find that, please remember to cut off the 35,000, making sure it goes back to harga cost, because the intention of the 35,000 is to help you find out your SN, SNT. So the moment you found it already, later when you do your PKK, you could just show them like this, cost SNT, nilai buku. So they are able to become the number that they wanted, 35,000. Okay, so the concept is like that. So you look for two things. In the baki area, terlebih terkurang or ABS that has a difference in the number. Okay, so then next, step 3. Account kawalan. So the account kawalan, right, is supposed to be having two types. One is account belum terima, the other is account belum bayar. So the point of doing your account kawalan, right, mainly is to help you prepare and find your jualan dengan belian credit. Cari jualan credit. Belian credit. Once you found that, then your last step, step 4, is to prepare the reports. APUR PKK. So compared to your kaedah perbandingan, definitely analysis will take more time than the other because kaedah perbandingan question usually is at 20 marks or 15 marks maybe. It's a shorter question. Compared to analysis, normally is 25. Okay, normally it's 25 marks. Okay, so now that we already go through the overall, it's time that I show you how you should apply into the answers of kaedah analysis. Okay, so please look at the exercise. I decided to choose something more basic okay, because we have very limited time. If I go by the hardest question, we might not be able to finish and I will leave you feeling very confused. Okay, so we start with basic first. Including when you are doing the exercise on your own, I don't recommend you to pick the hardest question. Okay, you start off basic. Once you understand how to do the basic questions already, then you upgrade into a harder question, upgrade further. So until you think you can handle, then you try the hardest question in the set. Okay, so I tell you which one is the hardest one our question, right, actually begin at page 18. Can you all find that? Page 18. This is the first question. And then, right, the hardest question is actually page 19 and 20. So my recommendation is when you're doing revision on your record lengkap analysis, you don't use this question first, okay? Last. If you want to do it, you do it last, okay? So all of the question you finish. Then last only you do this, because I personally think that it will confuse you so much that it will cause you to hate the chapter. I mean, of course, you don't really like this chapter a lot lah. I don't think there are students who love the chapter, but it will make you dislike it even more. So I think best is you put it last. We do the basic questions first, because it's not 100% that exam will come up this kind of question as well, right? So why make it difficult for ourselves first? So we just try basic. Slowly we upgrade, okay? Yeah? So now I will begin with page 18 question. So this is a very standard structure of a record tak lengkap analysis. They will give you Baki area on top, having 1st January and 31st December. Also, they have given us account bank showing transaction of income and expenses. Maklumat tambahan is for pelarasan. So you can take a look at the requirement first. What did the question ask for? Number one, they asked us to menghitung jualan kredit, menghitung belian kredit. Now, by the way, this one I would recommend you to not show them account kawalan because it's a waste of time. You look at the marks, right? It's only 2 markah each. If you were to prepare the full account kawalan, you have to write dates. You have to find Baki HP, Baki BB in a correct way. So it would take you so much time just to score 4 marks. It's not really worthy. So my recommendation is you should prepare a mini version of the account kawalan in your page here. Okay, so of course, if you're using a blank piece of paper, you can just draw on your paper if you want lah. Okay, so it's a rough calculation that it will take you very short while. Okay, now one is meant for account belum terima, the other is meant for account belum bayar. Now, in case you have forgotten, account belum terima represents asset. So the positive side is on the debit, negative is credit. So what you're doing here in this chapter is, in this account belum terima ledger, is to record hutang pelanggan. Okay, so whenever your customer owes you, it will increase. When your customer pay money, then hutang akan berkurang. It's the same concept to ABB, but account belum bayar is our pembekal. We are the person buying. We owe money to them. That's why credit is positive. Debit is negative. So we just talk about the basic of an account kawalan first, okay? You at least must have 3 components inside of the account kawalan, which is the Baki BB, beginning balance that your customers owe you. Same goes to ABB. It will also have a Baki BB, amount that we owe them, beginning balance, okay? I accidentally draw on my screen. Never mind. I help you remove, okay? Don't worry. You're using phone, is it? Because usually when you use phone, it's easier to draw on the screen. Okay, don't worry, I erased already. Okay, it happens a lot. Now, anyways, Baki BB. We have it on the positive side of each account. Okay. Now, once we have Baki BB already, throughout the year, we will expect the person to at least pay us, correct? If your customer pay you, you will receive money. So bank bertambah, but hutang pelanggan berkurang. So we fill out the number later. Okay. Same goes to account belum bayar. Throughout the year, you will try to pay off your hutang. So as you pay, bank berkurang, hutang ABB, hutang kepada AB juga berkurang. So I will do the explanation of bank on the negative side as well. Okay. Now I will leave a reasonable amount of gap in case we have anything additional to put. So before that, we will actually leave some space only to go into Baki HP. Is that all right? So potential, what can happen on the negative side of ABT and ABB are things like pulangan jualan, pulangan belian, discount diterima, discount diberi, as well as hutang lapor to happen. So all this, if it does happen, then I have to make sure to put inside these 2 accounts. Okay, so to find us what? To find us jualan credit, belian credit. So this is your task. Okay, we aim to find this number over here. Now we leave the gap, we leave the spaces here because we have yet to finish all the pelarasan. So I'm just trying to make you recall how your account kawalan belum terima and belum bayar is done, but we are doing it in a rough calculation manner. Okay, right. So now let's officially start with the main parts of the record tak lengkap. Understand that here in the 1st January 2025 section is where they give you baki BB ataupun baki awal. In 31st December is where you find baki HP, baki AQ. Now in the list, you cannot see any belanja or hasil. Everything given here are only asset, liability, EP sahaja. It must be only these three, okay? And so I will start to label them now, okay? Begin by kenderaan. First one, ABS. Perabot, ABS. Inventory, AS. Account belum terima, AS. Account belum bayar, LS. Kada bayaran belum bayar, LS. Insurance prabayar, AS. Pinjaman, L. BS. Now, why cannot be LS? Because normally the requirement for pinjaman to be LS is that the tarik matang, date to be fully paid off, is within 12 months. But you see, this pinjaman doesn't come with any tarik matang at all, right? So confirm just a normal LBS. And then do you see here? Given model awal. Okay, I can be very confidently telling you that this is a model awal because in Kaedah analysis, your model RQ cannot be found here. Model RQ can only be found using PKK, which is the normal method. Model awal tambah untung bersih tolak ambilan. Okay, never to be found over here. So we just leave it blank lah. Now, something is missing in the list. I hope you guys did notice that I asked you all to do this for your first step earlier. Now, your first step is to actually find out bank. Do you all remember that? Okay, so you see, it's not in the list at all. Not normal for a business, or how can you have no money at all? If you have no bank, at least give me tunai lah, but they never gave. So your task now is to actually find out the AS bank yourself and fill up the spot for baki BB dengan baki HP. Okay, so to get that, come here to the bank section. Now, our bank has shown us ringkasan penerimaan dengan pembayaran. Debit side is positive, credit side is negative. So money comes in and money goes out lah, correct? So the best part about this question is they have calculated for you what is your total on the left. What is the total on your right? Okay, so they did it for you already. Basically, you just need to compare the two numbers to find out what's the balance in your account bank now, because baki BB already given 2,800. So you can put that at the 1st January section. Okay, then now the only thing missing is baki RQ. So think about it. I have 2,008. Then we received this much. So the left side is 31,000 now. Can you all tell me, after spending 20,340 away, what is left of your bank? Anyone can tell me the answer? Yes, Zian and Steven, correct. 10,660, yeah, baki RQ. So usually we have to count ourselves on, but the question actually did the total for both sides for us. So we just need to compare the total lah, then you can find the baki HP out already. Okay, so perfect. It's very quick over here. So we will put the 10,660 to the 31st December. So here we will use it later for penyata kedudukan keuangan. Is that okay? All right, so now that we have found what is left of your bank already, whatever that is shown inside of account bank can now be individual by themselves. Example, the commission that we see here can be changed. I don't mind it being changed because the 2004, have I already included in the baki? Yes, so that's why I just need to focus on having this hasil belanja goes back to the amount yang sebenar. So we can do pelarasan freely in this section already, because what's shown on the debit side is my potential hasil. So if you want to cari hasil, you look on the debit side. This is income, receive money, okay? While the right hand side is where you can find all of your belanja. So we kind of just look through, right? You can see obviously the hasil that is shown here is commission. Belanja available on the credit side are gaji, insurance, kada bayaran, sewa dengan faedah atas pinjaman. So there are like 5 belanja here lah. Okay, then now we should begin with our pelarasan already. So my suggestion is actually to start off with this section here, because the items, the pelarasan given is actually hidden. You have to do it by yourself. They don't hint you one, okay? One of it is kada bayaran, having a belum bayar. Insurance, having a prabayar. So if you think you will forget, right, you can put that on top. Terkurang, terlebih. So for baki BB dengan baki HB, the difference is that HB is year end, right? We always follow by year end figures. So when it comes to year end, terkurang, we will make sure to add it back. Terlebih, we make sure to minus it out. So if that happens for baki HB, what should you do when it's terkurang or terlebih during beginning of the year? You would do a terbalik version of it. Negative, positive. So for terkurang, you are required to do negative, positive if there is a beginning and end. Okay, 2 steps. And then for terlebih, you're supposed to plus for the beginning of the year, minus for the end of the year. Okay, so this is what you do right now. Move down a bit because I scared y'all cannot see. Okay? Alright, so let's apply. Can you guys tell me whether belum bayar is considered terkurang or terlebih? Belum bayar. Is it that you never pay or you pay too much? Yeah, correct, Hannah. Terkurang. So when it's terkurang, beginning of the year, we will minus. End of the year, we plus. So no matter got number or not, I will still put a symbol lah. But in the end, the confirmed one is to only plus 230 into your kada bayaran. So this is one of the pelarasan. Okay, let's go down here. You see, inside of your bank, the kada bayaran showed is paid amount. But is it enough? No, that's why they say belum bayar mah. So let's adjust it and we will find the harga sebenar. So your kada bayaran shouldn't be just 890. That it should be 890 plus 230. What you should pay in this year itself is 1120. Only we consider it as the actual belanja dalam tahun ini. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we did pay 890, but it's lacking. So that's why we try to make it back into amount yang sebenar according to 1 year basis. Okay, so one of the pelarasan is done already. Let's apply for insurance next. Now, insurance is a prabayar case. Prabayar means terlebih, right? So beginning of the year plus, end of year minus. So plus, minus. Now we have 2 numbers to work with, okay? You actually have to plus 60 minus 180 from your insurance. So what is going to be the actual amount? Now I already paid 600, but there is a 60 supposed to be added minus 180. So once you do that adjustment, yes, okay, perfect. 600 plus 60 minus 180, yeah? 480. So that is the actual amount for your insurance. So of course, if you guys need, I can show you the working. So earlier on for your kada bayaran, you did this 890 plus 230. Okay, and then insurance, now what you did is you took 600 to plus 60 minus 180. So that's what happened. Okay, so both the pelarasan's done already, and when you think it's finished, no, we have one more hidden kind of pelarasan that you have to find by yourself is among these 2 ABS. Now, what is the clue to having susut nilai? Is when you find any ABS having a different number between the beginning of the year and end of the year. So you see, for kenderaan, right, beginning of the year is 20,000, end of year, still 20,000, so no problems at all, right? But for perabot, did you notice that from 6,000, it went up to 6,400 already? Now, you tell me that this is a susut nilai. Of course, it doesn't make sense because the number are growing, right? If you want it to be a susut nilai, it has to go down. So what's the possibility here is that the 400 ringgit came from where? How come suddenly my perabot increase in value? Will that happen? Your tables are suddenly increased value. No ma, if you use them, then it will only get lesser and lesser in value. So the reason of the increment is due to only one reason. You have purchased new perabot. So to find that, you will have to look from your account bank, because this is where you spend money, right? Okay. Look on the credit side. Do you see perabot there? So we actually bought 1,000 worth of perabot this year. So if you think about it, right, having the 6,004 doesn't quite make sense. So I want to kind of check it myself. If at the beginning of the year, I have 6,000, today, this year, I bought 1,000. Shouldn't my number be showing 7,000 instead? This is considered as the new cost, okay? And exactly why they are giving me the 6,004 is because they're trying to tell me, even with the amount bought, you also have experience susut nilai dan susut nilai terkumpul. So what is the difference between 7,000 and 6,004? That number is considered as your susut nilai, okay? So guys, 7,000 tolak 6,400. I would want you to do this. You put on top of the perabot SN perabot, having it as a bracket 7,000 minus 6,400. Did you guys manage to get 600 as your belanja amount? If you do, then the 1,000 is no longer needed. Okay, just to tell you first lah, I am recycling the section because if you want to add it to another place, sure. But I think that is kind of messy later on. So best is we recycle the section since perabot, right? If I buy, of course, it will ditambah ke dalam ABS ma. So we have nothing to use for the 1,000 already. So why not just fill this section up by your susut nilai? Because anyhow, you have to write that. Okay, yeah? So SN perabot is the first step. What is the second step after getting susut nilai? Any idea, guys? After having susut nilai, you must have a second step. What is that second step called? Just give me the short form of it. Yes, very good, Hannah. Anyone else? After SN, then you must have 3 alphabets on short form. Anyone else knows it? No? Okay, after SN, must be SNT. Yeah, so where should we put the SNT left? I think, right, I kind of suggest you to put maybe here, because SNT is considered as a negative ABS. So you put everything together, it's easier for you to find. But note that it will not be involving baki awal. The number you found is just for this year end, that is 600 also. Is that fine? So your SN adalah sama dengan SNT because it's the first year you found the number. Alright, so we already completed whatever hidden on top. Nothing else already. It's time that we are going to move on to the maklumat tambahan. Okay, so there's a thing that you have to be careful about lah. Pelarasan berkaitan ABT, ABB. Pelarasan berkaitan ABT, ABB. Suggested ones are pulangan, jalan, pulangan belian. Discount, diberi, diterima. Hutang lapor. Okay ya, pelarasan berkaitan ABT, ABB. Semua 2 langkah means that must be 2 steps, okay? That is label hasil belanja, account kawalan. Account kawalan. Label hasil ataupun belanja, account kawalan. So these 2 langkah, except if tiga langkah jika belum direkod. Okay, and the tiga langkah is actually to do what? The tiga langkah, the third step is actually to tolak baki ABT, ABB. So means that actually every time as you see these 5 items, right, okay, if they appear you should be doing the standard, which is to put them as a labeling. hasil belanja, or even sometimes it can be for account perdagangan. And to put them inside this section, account kawalan, is a standard step already. But you can only minus baki if they ever say belum record, because the base of the chapter, right, is called record tak lengkap. Assuming that they are missing records, but you see, they already give us ABT and ABB baki since the beginning. So meaning to say that maybe they have already adjusted the ABT and the AB. The only thing that's missing is that they never ever written the pulangan jalan or pulangan belian out by themselves. So that's why our assumption is we will treat this as their own. So it's not related to ABT now because they have done it for themselves. So we just need to handle the pulangan jalan, the pulangan belian. But if they ever add on belum record, then I have to do all of the steps for them, which means that a complete record lah. Okay, so now under this condition, can you see that point 1 to point 3 are all of the things I stated earlier? Pulangan, discount, also hutang lapor. They are all appearing, but they have a same similarity. There is no belum record stated. So what does it mean? You only need to do dua langkah for this question. Okay, so first step, pulangan jalan 260. Pulangan belian 130. What you need to do? You will label them as account perdagangan. They belongs to jualan tolak pulangan jualan, that section. Belian tolak pulangan belian, that section. Okay, so that's why just AP lor. Secondly, you will put them into here. Pulangan jalan 260. Pulangan belian 130. Right? Yeah, so the reason why we don't no longer adjust the baki HP is because assuming that now ABT show us 1740 for baki HP, right? We're trying to prove that the reason why the baki is 1740 is because in between they have deducted this before. So we just need to put it into kawalan, that's it. Okay, continue. Second point, discount diterima 370. The first step is we put it as a hasil. Is something good to us, okay? And as well as the second step, put inside account kawalan, but it must be ABT or ABB. So you ask yourself this question: under what condition that I would be receiving discount? Should I be the one receiving that I receive discount? Or I am paying so I receive discount? Which one makes more sense? Of course, you receive money. You receive discount? Doesn't make sense, ma? Of course, you are paying bayar. That's why the other party gives you discount. So this one here is going to be related to account belum bayar 370. Complete for point 1 and point 2. So you just need to put them label and also inside account kawalan. So you realize that none of it, right, involves changing numbers at anywhere. So you just need to place them to the correct places. Yeah. And then now for third step, hutang lapor dihapuskan 500 ringgit, sorry. So this is a trick question because a lot of people actually think that this is a hutang lapor terpulih. But let me tell you this, for it to become a hutang lapor terpulih, they must give you a storyline first, as in, this person ran away last year, now they came back, we received 500. They must say this for it to become hutang lapor terpulih. But if they say hutang lapor dihapuskan, what they're trying to interpret is that you have hapuskan 500 daripada account belum terima. This part is telah dibuat. So they have done it for you, but you haven't done hutang lapor yet. So this hutang lapor 500, we will treat it like normal belanja. Okay, we will treat like normal. Every time when you see hutang lapor dihapuskan, it's just normal hutang lapor. Don't overthink. Yeah? So for us, it's a belanja. And one more is that I will put it inside account belum terima. It needs to be deducted from ABT because they ran away. It can because they are bankrupt or maybe they passed away. So these are many reasons they cannot pay you. So this deducted from ABT, then we are done with 1, 2, and 3 already. So the final steps for point 4, 5, and 6 are normal pelarasan. So starting with kenderaan, okay, they wanted us to calculate 10% atas cost. Formula is cost times percentage. Okay, how to find this answer? If you want to, right, I would say that best put together with the rest of them. So I slot in over here lah. SN kenderaan belanja. Can you all find where is the cost of your kenderaan? It should be on top. Here. 20,000. 10% means it's 2,000 ringgit. So we'll put that as belanja. We put that as belanja. Okay. After having it as a belanja, I already said SN, then must have SNT ma. So we will create SNT of our own underneath of the perawut. Negative ABS, nothing for the beginning of the year. Also, we have a 2,000 at the end. Okay, so far, any questions that you all would like to ask? No questions. Okay, perfect. So let's move on already. Yeah. Okay. Coming up is faedah atas pinjaman. Can you all see that there's already a faedah atas pinjaman here? Now the 350 is meaning what? 350 is telah dibayar. We paid it before, but is it enough? Not sure. We check. Okay, so they say faedah atas pinjaman is 8% 1 year. So I should be using pinjaman number multiply by 8% to check, right? So going by your pinjaman, 10,000, if we multiply by 8%, shouldn't the number be 800? But they show us only 350 here. So what you should do is replace this 350 to the actual 1 year figure, 800. Then it should only be considered as belanja. But at the same time, you have to understand the fact that you never pay this much, right? So where is the amount that missing should be written at? So I think as a faedah atas pinjaman, if you never pay, it's considered liability semasa, right? So to put it, I think maybe lah you want to put nearby. Here also can. FAP belum bayar. Faedah atas pinjaman belum bayar of 450. So how did I know it to be 450? Because at first I paid 350 ma. So now if the actual amount is supposed to be 800, the difference is 450 lah. So that is what you still owe. Liability semasa. Okay, right. So we are done with the second last pelarasan, and now it's the final one already. The final one is the pemilik telah mengambil barang niaga 550 dan perkara ini belum direkodkan. So these are, if you see belum direkod, should we do 3 langkah? Answer is no. The 3 steps is only applicable to ABT, ABB related items. So if it's a normal pelarasan transaction, we do 2 steps maximum. Okay, please go ahead and adjust barang niaga. I want to ask you guys, where can we deduct the barang niaga from? Okay, perfect. Jinnu give me the answer straight away. Nice, okay. Hannah also correct already. So barang niaga, remember, you only have 4 choices of barang niaga terms to use. Inventory awal, inventory RQ, belian dengan jualan. And since Form 4, we said after chapter 2 you never ever use inventory for adjustment anymore. So awal and RQ is off already. You only have belian, jualan to choose from. But if you think about it, belian means to buy. Jualan means to sell. If it's already sold, can I still take it back? No. So if you want to take, it must be from belian to deduct. Okay, so then now we will go ahead and deduct our belian lah. But here you see the 4,300 is what we have purchased using cash or bank. Okay, paid directly lah. But that's not the final figure. Okay, I'm put here AP, account perdagangan. The number is 4,300. Yes. In between, my boss has taken 550 out from it, but it's still not finished because we would have a belian credit in addition. So we are still waiting for it because our answer is still not up, the belian credit, okay? So we find that out already, then we will fill up over here at the gap. Is that all right? Okay, so complete. Yes? No, actually one was that. Okay, ambilan. I put here lah, my recommendation is 550 negative EP. All right, so everything completed. It's time that we go ahead and calculate our jualan credit dengan belian credit. By the way, where can we find Baki BB, bank, and Baki HP? So the spaces fill up with informations from here. Baki BB from the front, Baki HP at the end. And if you want the numbers from your account bank representing ABT is 7,500, 6,900. Okay, so we're going to bring these three numbers into our account column. So first one, 1,008 ABT. And bank 7,500 put inside ABT. HP 1,740. Done. Account belum bayar also the same. Number one, Baki BB 2,500. 2,500. Bank paid to ABB 6,900. Put under bank section. Okay, last one, Baki HP 2,300. All right, so I wouldn't be calculating the Baki, the jualan and the belian here because we are supposed to show them the pengiraan that is using hitung method. So hitung means you do plus minus and show them, not bother to draw the account kalan lah. So can you guys all prepare at least a piece of paper, or if you have my exercise book, usually you can use the exercise book lah. Okay, you choose that. Please prepare paper. I'm going to show you how to find the jualan and the belian using pengiraan way. Okay, come. Midterm seminar, and we are doing page 18. Bab 2.2 analysis. Because if I just write chapter 2, maybe you don't know which method I'm talking about. So to be exact, it's analysis lah. Okay, come. So now is the first question. Part A that I'm answering together with you. We are supposed to show them what is the jualan credit. Okay, guys, you see, if I want to find jualan credit, right, the clue is I actually have to first total up what is on the credit side because it's bigger and my unknown is here. Of course, I need to find out the completed side first. We will gather the credit amount only to minus the 1,008 to find out the difference that is your jualan credit. So how we show it is you can just use a bracket to compile all of the credit numbers together. 7,500 plus 260 plus 500 plus 1,740. So you are now trying to combine all the credit side first, okay, to balance, right? So you credit total already, then you can minus off the debit side's Baki BB to find your jualan credit. Okay, so can you all tell me what's the number you found here? 7,500 plus 260, 500, 1,740 minus 1,800 yeah, 8,200. Okay, found. And the next part B, belian credit. We are also going to be using the same way, guys. First, we will compile the side where it's already total. And if I only write RM for my final answer, will my marks get deducted? Apparently, I heard my student asking their teachers as well. They say apparently it's yes, that can. I think maths also allowed, right? Maths also you can write like your answer only with the label. Yeah, so I think it's best you consult your school teacher because they will be marking. So if your school teacher say can, then you do lor. But if they never say anything, I say best to write all the RM out. Yeah, okay, to be safe. Yeah, so for belian credit, we will first total the debit here. Okay, so 6,900, 130, 370, and 2,300. So the debit is found already. We will compare to the Baki BB on the right side, 2,500. So Berlian credit is equals to 7,200. So are you guys able to find this? Yeah, okay. If you did, guys, be careful. These are only the credit version. If you want to find the actual jualan, the berlian, you actually have to combine it with what you see in the account bank because those are secara tunai, secara bank. So you have to combine one. So bring this 8,200 to here. This jalan amount is for AP. We're talking about the jumlah, yeah. At first, we already have a 18,300 receipt. And the ones that are not received yet is 8,200. So in conclusion, this year's jalan is equals to 26,500 in total. Is that okay? So we're getting the jumlah jalan instead. And while for berlian, earlier we did leave a space for it. Berlian is credit 7,002 ma. So if I combine it with the rest of it, 4,300 minus 550 plus 7,200, Berlian is 10950. Okay, did you guys all manage to get this? If you do, okay, then we are done with the process already. So what's left is only some labeling. Example, commission is a hasil. Gaji and sewa not changed at all, so they are just normal belanja. Okay, yeah. So when you're trying to do your answers, right, guys, your steps is like this. Everything you need for PKK will come from here. Only this section. Nothing else. Okay, all of the assets, the liability, you will take from the Baki Akil, never the Baki Awal. So you take from this section now. And once you are understanding this for PKK, right? So where can I find things for account perdagangan, untung rugi? You will find them from this bottom section here. Okay, so just in case you guys don't know where to find the jawapan, right? It's the same link that I sent just now, together with the PDF version of the nota. Is in this Google Drive. So you look for the jawapan that will be given over there. You can just check straight away. So your task is to actually try doing the part C yourself because I will now move on to our chapter 3 already. Now it's 3:05. We have about 55 minutes to go to finish our session. So time flies, guys. Okay, just in case you all need, I will confirm with you that how many hasil and belanja you have. Okay, for account untung rugi, later on, you should see yourself having dua hasil. What are the two hasils? The hasils are commission and discount diterima. Can? Only two. Then for belanja, we have plenty. It will be gaji, 1, insurance, pada bayaran, sewa, faedah atas pinjaman, susut nilai kenderaan, 6 already. 7 is hutang lapor. Okay, am I missing anything? Let me check again. Oh, one more here. Susut nilai perabot. We have 8 of them. 8 belanja. So if you did manage to put them all in, then there should be no problem. Okay, so is that all right, guys? Anything that you would like to ask me before I move on? Now, by the way, if you guys don't have the notes, okay, and you feel like you want to refer back again, don't worry, because the video, right, we actually don't need you to request or anyhow. We will post it inside our YouTube channel, TTC Education YouTube channel. So no matter you attended or you didn't attend, you also can watch the video. So yeah, for you guys, you can repeatedly watch the flow again, or in case you've forgotten how to find these things, okay? Right, so I'm gonna move on already, yeah? Now, I will need you to look at page number 26 because the next topic that I aim to cover is our chapter 3. Can? Page 26. Now, I don't want to be too ambitious, but I try my best to cover mostly of what I think students have forgotten. Because chapter 2, right, it's been quite some time since I do it in my in-class practice. But anyone that's new to my class here is your first time trying my method. So if you find it a bit hard to follow is very normal one because usually you have your own ways. So I'm not asking you to completely change your method of solving, but I'm just giving you a suggestion. So you think that the flow is better, then you can practice using that way. Okay, right. So now we're looking at page 26. Yeah. Now, chapter 3, we have two parts. Bab 3. Bab 3 is called Kaedah Kawalan Tunai. So we have two kaedah. First one is called Penyata Penyesuaian Bank 3.1. Second is called Belanjawan Tunai 3.2. Now the difference between these two, right, is that they are controlling different aspects. Penyata Penyesuaian Bank, right, do not care about cash. They only care about bank sahaja. Okay, but for Belanjawan Tunai, we care about every kind of money. So it's gonna consist of tunai, bank, tunai ringgit, or three of them in Belanjawan Tunai. Okay, so for Belanjawan Tunai, right, I didn't choose it to cover during my seminars because the concept of it is pretty much alike with Buku Tunai. So no much difference at all. You are doing penerimaan and pembayaran except that the numbers are actually expected figures. So means like I give you an estimation of 3 months, you calculate for me lah. So Belanjawan Tunai is easier than Penyata Penyesuaian Bank actually. Okay, now what is about this chapter here, 3.1? What happened is, bagi penyata bank tidak sama dengan bagi buku tunai. So we have an issue here is that when I am preparing my own version that is called the buku tunai, and at the end of the month, the bank will send me a statement for me to do my checking, correct? Now, apparently the balance is shown this way. Example, 5,000 and on my side is 13,000. I don't want to say businesses lah, okay? We talk about regular person. We are just checking our bank account to find that the record of your own is different compared to Penyata Bank by so much, okay? Hey, where is my missing 8,000? Should I find for it? Of course you would want to, right? Because it's not increased by 8,000 now. It's lacking. Where did my money go? Someone stole my money? Okay. Did a fraud happen in my bank account? So you start to get worried, right? So that is why in this chapter, we are trying to do an adjustment, penyesuaian, so that the balance can be aligned with each other. You only have one bank account. It's impossible to have two balance at the same time, correct? So from 5,000, you change to 13,000, or you want to make it from 13,000 to 5,000. It all depends on the jenis soalan asking for. Okay, now according to our syllabus, we have 3 kinds of questions being asked, but 2 of them are the same lah. Buku tunai to start first ends with Penyata Bank, which means that we want to see, for my example number, is 13,000 to become 5,000. This is what we want to look for, okay? But if they're talking about the third method, right? The third method is completely opposite. It becomes that I want to make 5,000 into 13,000 as of my buku tunai. Now, a lot of people are being concerned that, hey, teacher, can you simply change numbers of the bank statement? Answer is, yes and no at the same time, okay? Now, the yes part is you are able to prepare a version for your own to see. Means that the bank don't care one. You want to create, you want to do adjustment, can. But you do it on Penyata Penyesuaian Bank, this is for you. My Penyata Bank will not change no matter what, okay? So what is already confirmed, they will be there and fixed. You cannot change the 5,000 bank statement figures, okay? But we still adjust it anyhow because sometimes, right, the bank, they do record according to the checks received or paid. They don't care about the months. But in my financial record, of course, I follow according to monthly payment. Now it's November. I will do November payment and receiving. So should I include October or even a September number inside? I shouldn't. So that is why I will adjust according to what we want. We will prepare Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. Okay, so what is prepared by the bank is already done. You cannot change that. If you want to change, you have to create this Penyata Penyesuaian Bank to do it. Okay, so we have 2 methods lah. The first method is we consider Penyata Bank to be correct. Second method, we consider buku tunai to be correct. So you only can choose from these 3 methods one of it. Okay, so it's very obvious one, because if you want to use the first method, right, they must say kemas kini buku tunai. So what's troublesome about the first method is that you are required to prepare two sections of your answer. You have to answer two times, okay? The first part is you need to redo the buku tunai to open this. Buku tunai kemas kini. Okay, after you finish this, only you can carry on forward to penyata penyesuaian bank itself. So your answers, right, actually will be split into two parts. So it wouldn't straight away from 13,000 become 5K. Maybe 13,000, it will go to 7,000 first at this part. And then only when I do PPP, it will go to 5,000. So in between, there will be a temporary figure found. So that's for the first method. Okay, now second method and the third method, right, they are both tanpa kemas kini. So no need to do any changes to the buku tunai. You will just need to prepare one penyata penyesuaian bank. Just one. Okay. So in that report, penyata penyesuaian bank, you will see directly from 13,000 straight away become 5,000. Or from 5,000 directly become 13,000. So there's no like in between numbers at all. Okay. So now, how can I know if they are asking between second method or the third method? Since they are the same, right? Both also tanpa kemas kini more. So you will see whether they request for mula dari baki buku tunai or not. Else, they will say mula dari baki penyata bank. Okay, so you will see whether they ask you to begin from which baki. If they didn't mention about this at all, they just said tanpa kemas kini buku tunai, guys, I would prefer you to choose the method 2 always, because it makes more sense. Okay, you ask me between our version and the bank's version, which one should be more accurate? Of course, the bank's version will be more accurate Usually we do a lot of human errors, right? Okay, so over here, this is sorry. Did you guys see me flash away just now? Or do you all still see me just now? Because my screen just disconnected suddenly. I was like, oh, what happened? Anything happened just now? No. Okay, normal. Nothing happened. Okay, then I just carry on. Our version. Okay, and the one in front, that is the 5,000, is bank's version. The bank's version. So we are going to compare between the bank's version to our version, but it's not that simple as 5,000 to become 13, okay now plus 8,000, not like that. Or 13,000 to become 5,000 minus, no, it doesn't work like that, because the 8,000 difference can be caused by different factors. So that is where we start to talk about reasons that's causing your balance to be different. Okay, so here we have faktor-faktor wujud perbezaan. Now, total, how many factors you will learn of? 5. It's only 5, okay? No more than that, okay? Now, in these 5 factors, right, I go by easy to hard, okay? So we go one by one. Starting from the easiest one, I think, personally, is ketinggalan. Now, I will give you a symbol, which is like a box, okay? Sometimes I will box up the numbers, or sometimes you just put beside the sentence, up to you, okay? So, ketinggalan is missing record in buku tunai. So it must be our buku tunai, because missing record can never be a mistake of your bank. They will not miss out any record as long as you did have a check transaction. They will do it immediately for you. But for human being, right, when we do the record, we are not machines, of course we will forget sometimes. So the check I issued already, but I forgot to put inside my buku tunai. So this is the problem, okay? Now it's already been ditolak ataupun ditambah ke account bank. So in this one, no matter which method you are doing, be it buku tunai to penyata bank or penyata bank to buku tunai, remember that you will never see any numbers inside of your buku tunai. It will always be 0. Okay, right? So it will be always 0. So then a lot of students don't understand the concept of the 0. So I'm just saying that 0 equals to cannot be found. Cannot be found. Okay, so we will use 0 to represent now, because otherwise, if I don't put a number, right, how can we actually compare? So we just put 0 as the representative of cannot be found. And then now, in my Penyata bank, I just give you an example of number lah, okay? The bank has deducted my bank account by 40 ringgit. So you see, no matter which method you use, when you compare to 0, the difference will not change. It will also be 40. But what matters now is whether this 40 we should plus or we should minus, right? According to my first method and the second method, they are all saying Penyata bank being the correct version. In order from 0 to become negative 40, I have to follow negative 40. Correct? But if you want to make a negative 40 into 0, then the method to undo it is to plus. So you see, the only thing matters here is whether the number you should plus or you should minus. So it goes by who is the correct version that you want to follow. Okay, so that is our first factor, ketinggalan, missing record. Second factor is going to be a triangle here. Now, if you don't like the triangle, you can also put it as short form. CTL is the same as tak laku. No difference, okay? So what is happening, why there's a check tak laku happening is because the payment from your customer, they issue a piece of check to you, okay? You proceeded to put inside the bank, but bank tells you that your check cannot be processed. Something is wrong. I'm not sure why. Maybe your customer doesn't have money lah. They just created a check to cheat you, okay? So here that we confirm, we cannot receive the money already, okay? No matter what, be it the first method or the second method, again, one of it will be 0. And the one that's 0 is not buku tunai, is your Penyata bank this time, because rejected by bank. So if it's being rejected by bank, why would you see it inside of your Penyata bank, correct? It wouldn't even reflect in your statement because I already said you cannot receive the money. Why would I write it inside? But for your point of view, you thought that you received already. So at the moment you get the check, right, you will just immediately put inside your good night, positive 1,000, right? So you see, how should I correct the figures? If you're comparing to 0, the number would stay as 1,000. Stay as 1,000. But do you plus or do you minus? Depends on your aim. If you want to make a positive 1,000 to become 0, then the target is to minus it completely. But if you make 0 into positive, then you have to plus 1,000. So this is the concept of check tak layan. Okay, so you follow by which method you are referring to. But anyhow, for ketinggalan, it must be buku tunai not found with number. Check tak layan, Penyata bank not found with number. Okay, all right. So next, number 4 and number 5, we call them by short form CBD, DBD. Okay, now CBD and DBD, right, are both almost similar cases where one of it is us issuing a piece of check dikeluarkan. Another one is us receiving a piece of check. So you understand that first, no matter which method we are using, again, I'm showing you the comparison. Since we are the one paying, I don't care whether it's processed or not. In my buku tunai, surely I have written negative of, let's say, negative 450. Okay. Meanwhile, for the DBD, if I'm using the first method, I would have already recorded inside of my buku tunai positive 800. No matter which method, in your buku tunai, they are all positive. Okay, but now the situation is cek dikeluarkan oleh pelanggan bank kepada akaun belum bayar. I have paid this check to my supplier, but penerima check, which is your supplier themselves, okay, they receive your check, but they never put belum mengemukakan checknya di bank untuk ditunaikan. Because for your information, check actually can last up to 6 months. So you can slowly bank in, no problem. So this person is not rushing lah. So they had a lot of issues to go on with. So they just put the check aside, and maybe 3 months later, they suddenly recall of this check. Then they put inside their bank. That's why will it immediately reflect in my bank statement if the person did not insert the check into their bank account? Of course cannot, because bank only work if there is a check there, right? Nothing is telling them to issue money from your bank account to your supplier. Why would they do it on their own? So that's why no matter it's a CBD or a DBD, it's the same scenario. It's just that our point of view as a receiver or a payer. Okay, so that's why here our Penyata bank will not show any amounts at all. Okay, they have not processed it for us. Now, how can I change it? So numbers remain as 450, remain as 800, but the only changes is the symbol. Okay, so to make negative into 0, I have to plus. To make 0 into negative, I have to minus. Okay, from positive to 0, I have to minus. From 0 to positive, I have to plus. So I'm telling you guys, these 4 factors first, you know why? Did you all realize that the 4 factors that I first explained all has a side being 0? So when they are being 0, do you need to think about the difference in their number? No, it's always the same figure, but you decide on plus or minus, and that's it. Okay, so now it comes to our final factor that is going to be different, because 个喜lapan here, we're talking about errors in record. Now I have recorded it, but the number is wrong. Okay, so this is a kesilapan amount lah, basically. Okay, terlebih atau terkurang catat usually is amount problem, but there are chances where they put to the wrong side as well. Okay, so what happens here is I will give a symbol which is the star to kesilapan. Now just put an example. Buku tunai to Penyata bank. Now, in my buku tunai, I have recorded negative 406. While in Penyata bank, it's negative 460. You see, this is the problem. I cannot say, oh, the difference is 406. The difference is 460. Cannot, because I really did recorded the figures partially, but they are not the same, correct? So I will have to just look for the difference between 6 to 60, because the 4 is the same. The only difference is the 2 digits at the back. Okay, to make 6 into 60, of course, the difference is 54. But you need to decide on the plus or minus depending on the originality of the number. Is it supposed to be a bigger negative or a smaller negative? So you're trying to make a negative 406 even bigger in negative form, 460, right? So the method is you continue minus the number, negative 54. Okay. Meanwhile, if I turn the formula into another way, okay, you see the numbers are still sticking to the same version. So 406 is our buku tunai. Negative 460 is Penyata bank. How can I make negative 460 to negative 406? The difference is still 54, but instead of minus, we had to plus, so to make the number smaller. Okay, so this is the method for kesilapan. Now we had to compare it, but for the rest, we can actually just decide on the plus minus. Okay, so total we have 5 factors for me to work with. Do we need to write all of this out every single time? No, you just need to choose which method you are about to do. Is it the first method or the third method? Second method or the third method? You pick between one of them now, okay? And now I will be showing you all the first method. Reason because the first method will have you to split your factors into 2 sections. Now, the ones with the symbol ketinggalan, kesilapan, cek talayan, they will go to buku tunai dikemas kini. While the other 2 factors, CBD, DBD, they will come into Penyata Penyesuaian bank. So I choose to cover method 1 is because it's more confusing. But for the second and third method, right, you will throw all 5 factors into the same places. So mainly you just need to group them by positive or negative. That is exactly why I think it's better for me to cover the first method lah. Okay, right. So now, have you guys done writing? All good? Yes, okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna move on to the exercise, but I'm just showing you how the question will be asked first lah. Then only we go to method 1 now, okay? Now starting with page 32. Starting with page 32. This one here is the beginning of method 1. We actually do provide a few questions of method 1 for you to try out on your own. So now I will do page 32 with you lah. But before that, I will teach you how to look at it. At the bottom, can you see Anda dikehendaki? Now, the moment they ask for buku tunai, this must be method 1. Is that okay? If they say buku tunai, means it must be method 1 already. No other options, okay? So this is our current question that I want to cover now, okay? But what if they come up with a second method? If it's a second method, right, that would begin at page number 38. Sorry. Too far away already. Where is it? Okay, page 35, my mistake. 38 is method 3, so I jumped through a bit, okay? Page 35. You look at the very bottom, Anda dikehendaki. Can you see that they only ask for penyata penyesuaian bank, never ask for buku tunai? So you have to be deciding between method 1 or method 2. So how do you know if it's a method 1 or 2? Depends on whether they say this or not. Dengan baki buku tunai. Whichever being mentioned first means it will be the wrong version. Start with buku tunai, ends with penyata bank. So this is method number 2. Okay, now for method 3 is on page 38. Yes, okay. Page 38. Method 3. You can see the Anda dikehendaki asking for sediakan penyata penyesuaian bank again without the buku tunai and requested bermula dengan baki penyata bank, which means confirmed method number 3. To start with penyata bank means you will see the penyata bank as the wrong version. You want to adjust it into the buku tunai's number for your boss. Okay, so we already are done with talking about the 3 methods. So when they say penyata penyesuaian bank but did not provide this, you are free to choose method 2 or method 3, which I will personally recommend method 2 because it's more logical. Okay, right, so now let's start page 32. Come back to here. Okay, first thing to do. You understand first, in the first method, our buku tunai is considered wrong. Penyata bank is correct, but also very important thing is how you should look at the debit and the credit. Now, for penyata bank, debit side, credit side, versus buku tunai, debit and credit side, they will work differently. Reason being, penyata bank, they will view our money as their liability. Well, I'm preparing my own buku tunai. Of course, I will look at my money as asset, correct? So when the point of view is different, the plus minus will also sit on a different position, correct? So for penyata bank, the positive is credit. Negative is debit. So they are opposite. Okay. Now when it comes to buku tunai, then terbalik as well, because assets, right, debit is positive, credit is negative. So when we are trying to do checking of the numbers, you want to check the positive numbers, right? You have to look from the debit side of buku tunai to the credit of penyata bank. When you're trying to check the negative numbers, you have to look opposite as well. Credit of buku tunai to the debit of penyata bank. So that is why we call it the cross check. Is that okay? Because you're literally crossing each other lah. Okay, so this is what happens. So to make it easier for you, usually I will encourage everyone to label on your question paper debit as negative, credit as positive. This is penyata bank, correct? Okay, after you label already, only we move down to the penyata bank. Label by yourself, debit is positive, credit is negative. So it's easier for you to see. Okay, so once done, then first thing to do, I want you to remove this first baki in the penyata bank. because this is the previous month's balance. What I want is of November month end. So we keep only the last number, 4760 of Penyata Bank. This is what they show us that for this month, you should be left with 4760. But is this a Baki debit or a Baki credit for Penyata Bank? Remember, if it's a positive value, Penyata Bank would call it as a Baki credit. Okay, for them is credit as positive. And now in my buku tonight, what happens? Okay, I also remove the Baki BB because I don't want whatever from last month. I want the brand new balance, which includes all of the information this month happened. So I don't want the BB. I also don't want the HB. I wanted this final position here, 5844, because for buku tonight, it ends up on the positive side with a different number. So both are actually also positive, but my buku tonight is showing a much higher figure than my bank statement lah. So it's time for us to find the difference, okay? So what you're aiming to do is to find your answer from 5844 goes back to 4760. If you are able to get all of the factors and eventually go back to 4760, means you're scoring full mark for this question, okay? Come. So let's start off with cross-checking. Now, cross-checking process is very quick. You just need to check positive to positive side. If they are same numbers, you can cut it off. So example, positive of your Penyata Bank is only 850 and 1330, while your buku tonight has 3 numbers, right? Among the 3 and the 2, only one matches, 850. Okay, so you just cross it off if it matches, but then the rest doesn't match, we will leave it. Okay, moving on to the negative side. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 numbers for us to check against 4 numbers in buku tonight. Do they match? Okay, first one that matches is 4,200. So you can cross off the 4,002 here, also in your buku tonight. Second one that matches is the 1380, both inside the Penyata Bank and the buku tonight. Okay, so we already completed with the cross-checking, right? There's one more thing that you have to be careful about is because of our record having to specify just November month. Do you see that the first piece of check issued is 1051? But I said already, the bank, they don't care one. If they receive check, then they process for you. So that's why, did you see that there's a number check that happens before 1051? If I say that this is the first piece of check I released, where did 1050 number come from? This is from last month. So we don't need to do any checking because this month, nothing happened that is 580 because the transaction is actually meant for the last month. But then why would we don't need to be concerned about it because it's an exam question. We just need to make sure to ensure number belongs to November. As long as it's not related to November, we will cross it off, okay? And now, what's remaining? Now, I have a very obvious one here showing 960 and 906. They put in a star, right? Okay, what is the symbol star meant for? Star is meant for kesilapan. Okay, so that's what you can find from both the version. So we don't wait anymore. Let's solve the kesilapan first. Now, I want it to be from buku tunai to become Penyata Bank's number. So inside of my buku tonight, it's a 906 negative. 906 negative. While Penyata Bank shows negative 960. Now, for the number to be from negative 906 to 960, difference is 54. But should we further minus or plus? Any idea? Yeah, we should actually further minus it so the number can even bigger. So then the 54 difference, what should I call it? I say you never rely on your Penyata Bank because they won't explain one. They will just put check. Okay, you want to know the exact reason for this 54 is because of Berlian. So you will take the explanation from your own buku tunai lah. So once this is completed, then you can remove the 906 and 960 from the Buku Tunai and Penyata Bank. Okay, and now guys, what is left in your Penyata Bank as well as Buku Tunai will be of the 4 factors. That is cek talayan, ketinggalan, CBD, and DBD. So among the 4 factors left, one of it must rely on the question that is over here. Okay, do you see what they say? Cek yang diterima pada 18 November dipulangkan oleh bank dengan tanda rujuk kepada penyuruh bayar. Okay, so whenever they mention dipulangkan oleh bank, it must be a cek talayan already. So they already tell you it is returned by the bank already. Of course, they don't show over here. They will only be found inside of our own version, Buku Tunai. So can you see, on 18 November, we received money from EFG, but it's dipulangkan oleh bank. So I will label beside cek talayan. That's all. Okay, so now that we have completed, what I will tell you is, if you want to find ketinggalan, you will find from Penyata Bank. What's remaining of Penyata Bank will be ketinggalan. Always. Why? Because if you remember, ketinggalan's concept is missing record of your Buku Tunai. So if it's missing from the Buku Tunai, how can I even find it here? I can only find from the Penyata Bank one. Okay, so then as of Buku Tunai, what's remaining? Of Buku Tunai will be CBD, DBD. Okay, these two. So how do you know if it's a CBD or a DBD? Which side? You have to remember, CBD is related to check. So you can only find them on the nombor check side. I mean, both also related to check lah, but CBD is us issuing the piece of check. So it would be from the negative side of Buku Tunai. While DBD means deposit. Deposit us receiving to put inside the bank account. That's why it should be on the positive side. So that's how you know lah. Okay, every time the remainder of Penyata Bank is ketinggalan. The one that's remained from Buku Tunai is gonna be CBD, DBD. Okay, so finish for the factors and it's time for us to do shortcut method. Since these 4 factors, they all compared to 0, right? You will expect the number to remain as it is, but whether to remain the symbol or to change it completely, it depends on which version is correct. Now, if you say Penyata Bank is correct, then I will follow whatever they do, which they minus, I will also minus. They plus, I will also plus. Okay, so we are done with the ketinggalan already. And as to the last 3 factors below, Buku Tunai is wrong. When they plus, do I still want to plus? No, you want to make it 0, you know. So from positive to 0, I have to actually minus it out. And if I want to make it from negative to 0, then I have to plus. Okay, so we already finished all of the process of penyata, penyesuaian bank. So it's time that we check. Can we actually achieve the balance that we wanted from 5844 to become 4760? Okay, so let's test. Please use your calculator. Start from this number. 5844. Can you all do that? 5844. So 5844 minus 1660, 3220, minus already, okay, plus 850 and 1700, minus 54, plus 1330, minus 10, minus 20, equals to, did you all manage to find 4760? Now, if you've gone through every plus minus in this question, you should be able to get that, okay? So right now, we shall begin with our answering. So I aim to finish at least the answers part for you in this penyata penyesuaian bank. So remember, yeah, if it were to be method 1, we need to split our 5 factors into 2 reports, right? So the buku tonight will only be able for you to write ketinggalan, kesilapan, check talayan. So your answer will be halfway there. You won't straight away find 4760. You will only officially find the answer when you continue with penyata penyesuaian bank. To start with, baki buku tunai, you plus CBD minus DVD to get baki penyata bank. So that's what you will be doing, okay? So your 5 factors, right? There will be 3 of them going into buku tunai, 2 of them at your penyata penyesuaian bank. Okay, so now guys, if you already did your part A and B earlier on a piece of paper, then I would suggest you to use another piece of paper because this one will be related to chapter 2 and our current answer is for chapter 3. So best you split it. Is that alright? So you write on the other piece of paper, chapter 3.1 is penyata penyesuaian bank. Now, by the way, if this is your first time joining my session and you feel like, oh, doesn't seem to fully understand how this 3.1 works, don't worry, I actually have a channel on YouTube for you to refer to if you need, okay? So it's always there. I have already posted since long time ago. My videos are very long time already. I haven't updated since, but it's still up to date because our questions haven't changed since. So if you need guideline for chapter 3.1, example, you learn already, but you've forgotten completely, I will suggest you to check for my video. Let me find for you the English version. Okay, y'all can find it here. All right, so you can always refer that. And of course, if you say, hey, teacher, my exam's also coming out with chapter 4, but your seminar doesn't cover, you can anytime find the information from my YouTube as well. So I basically have all chapters covered, except for Form 4 Chapter 7. I don't have that, but the rest is all included inside. You can try to find, okay? English and Mandarin version all available. You can try look for them. Okay, so come, let's start. 3.1 penyata penyesuaian bank. We are now doing question from 32, page 32. And the first question, A. Now they ask us to menyelaraskan buku tunai. So you will be preparing. Buku tunai should roughly take about 2, 4, 6, 8. Enough or not? Let me see. Okay, should be about 10 to be safe. Okay, 10. 10 rows of space. Buku tunai, make sure to write down bracket dikemaskin. Can? All right, then let's begin, yeah? Now, the best part about this chapter is that you don't have to be concerned about dates because we're doing this Kamaskini during the end of month, right? Okay, so exactly which month are we preparing for? We are now helping them prepare for 2025 November. We're living in the future, okay? Right, so for both sides, we will put 2025 November 30. Just put the end of November. Okay, and how you apply will be according to positive and negative of your buku tunai. So I think best is you label first, debit as positive, credit as negative. Now, a lot of students are concerned about writing this and getting mark deducted. I say, don't worry, it's just a label. It doesn't affect your internal answer, right? So you are always okay and feel free to put the debit credit by yourself, but don't use red pen, just use regular black pen or blue pen. It's acceptable. Okay, so now let's start off with the wrong balance. The wrong balance is 5844 here in the buku tunai. So we place at the same direction. Also the debit side. Baki BB 5844. Okay, then now we will look for 3 factors that can fit to this buku tunai, which is the one in this symbol, star, and as well as the triangle. Okay, ketinggalan, kesilapan, cek talayan, 3 of them. Starting off with cek talayan 1660. Can you see it's being in a negative form, right? So if negative means I have to put it here on the credit side. Okay, so copy the name. It's called EFG bracket cek tak laku. Now we had to put an explanation by the side in bracket because EFG appeared in buku tunai before. Now it's the second time of you writing it. Of course, you need to tell me, why? Just now it's negative. Now just now it's positive, or now you're negative. Why? The reason is cek tak laku. Okay, so to be exact, you explain 1660. Okay, finish with the cek tak laku. Next up, we're gonna be taking kesilapan. 54, also negative, so it will stay the same side as the EFG earlier. But after saying belian, you would also need to bracket kesilapan because it's the same case. It did appear in my buku tunai last time, and now you're doing it again. I need explanation, so we are continue with the negative 54 because it's lack of this number. Okay, so once cek tak laku and kesilapan done, the last one I need to put into this section is my ketinggalan. So ketinggalan comes from this section. Can you see the 3 boxes there? Okay, so you copy the names accordingly to charge perkhidmatan. Dividend will do, and then buku cek. So I will first start with charge perkhidmatan and buku cek because these two are negative. So put them together. Charge perkhidmatan. 10 ringgit. Second one, buku cek. 20. Okay, so negative is done already. It's left with the positive one. Dividend on the positive side, 1330. Now, the first time, if this is the first time you're doing it, okay, or you have done it before, but you never understood why, then I'm telling you, the reason why ketinggalan never need to explain like how cek tak laku and kesilapan does is because they never appeared in buku tunai before. This is the first time you're recording it. It's basically new. So since it's a new thing, then I don't have to explain of it, okay? Just give the bukil enough. Right, now it's time that we try to find out what is our baki HB. So I will recommend you to at least leave 1 row empty. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, yeah, I left extra. It's okay. So now I will leave 1 row empty at least to find out what is my baki HB. To get that, you need to first total up your left side. 5844 plus 1330. Total is 7174. If I need this for both sides, okay, minus the credits number, the temporary baki as of now, after finishing the 3 kinds of factor, you will get 5430. And it's very normal that we are yet to get the final answer yet because you have 2 more factors to go. So now please bring the baki HB to the correct side and put it as December 1st. Baki BB 5430. And we will continue using this baki at the bottom for part B. Okay, now part B cannot be the same format as your part A because part A is a leja form, buku tunai, T-shape. But for B, it's called penyata penyesuaian bank. You have to see it in a penyata form. That's why on the right side, we will keep 2 columns. Also 10 rows of space. Okay, must be penyata form. Then you put your title according to here. Penyata penyesuaian bank pada 30 November 2025. Do not bother writing dengan menggunakan baki buku tunai. No need, okay? So just put the title itself will do. It will be quite short lah, okay? Penyata penyesuaian bank pada 30 November 2025. 2 RM columns. Okay, and now you should bring your 5430 into this second column, explaining it as a bagi debit buku tunai. So the criteria of giving you this mark is whether you did mention the position of your baki or not, including the number have to be correct lah. Okay, so it's quite strict in this chapter. The marks that is given cannot be of own figures. They are all according to jawaban. So if your answers are different from jawaban, then you will lose this mark over here lah. But don't be sad because in between the factors can still give you marks one. So even you somehow cannot get balance, you cannot find the problem, then might just write in, at least maybe you have 2 or 3 errors, the other marks you still can get mark, right? So don't give up, yeah? Now, so baki debit buku tunai, we will first plus. Now you see, we have 2 factors left, that is CBD and DBD. But the fact is, these 2 factors doesn't call by CBD, DBD. CBD and DBD is our short form way of writing to ease the process. But when you want to write them in a format, you cannot write short form. So what's a CBD? CBD is called cek belum dikemukakan. Okay, now the difference between these 2 factors than the other 3, right, is that the first 3 factors we done in part A are quite short to explain. Correct. So I don't really feel annoyed if I were to write 2 or 3 times. But if you ask me to repeatedly write cek belum dikemukakan for 3 to 4 times, you will feel like dying, okay? Wow, so long to write. Somehow I have to write a butil with an explanation. So the easier way in this chapter to write your CBD and the DBD is to put the factor as title and put whichever butil relevant to CBD, which is the GHI and the gaji, below of the CBD. Can you understand? Yeah, so just instead of repeatedly writing the factor's name, you put the factor as the beginning, okay? Then you put butil at the bottom. So we have the 850 and the 1700. Combine with each other, getting positive 2550 that you need to add with 5430. Answer 7980. Okay, now last step. If cek belum dikemukakan is to be positive, then DBD is gonna be negative because they are different things, but one to receive and one to pay. If the pay is gonna become positive, then takkan my receive also positive, or then they will clash the meaning. So that's why now the deposit belum dikreditkan will come in a negative form. So we just need to minus it. Same way of how you write your CBD lah. No matter how many butils you have below of this factor, we use the same way. So we make it uniform, okay? Now for deposit belum dikreditkan, we have jualan. That is 32202 minus. And now our final mark to be scored is to write your answer. 7980 minus 3220 equivalent to 4760. Now, if you are too happy, you stop here. Then, guys, you will lose your mark. Be careful because the 4760, you also need to give an explanation as if how you write your 5430 on top. You see, your method is to start with buku tunai, ends with penyata bank. Of course, you have to explain properly which statement did you refer to this to get this 4760. The statement you referred to is your penyata bank showing you baki credit. So the final answer to be written as baki credit. Penyata bank. Finish. Okay, now if you're wondering how many marks you can score from here, right? I can tell you how the marks are given. Okay, so this is 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks. So just by the penyata penyesuaian bank, this is 5 marks already. Okay, and on top at your buku tunai, dividend 1 mark, cek tak laku, kesilapan, charge perkhidmatan, buku cek and the latest Baki. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks plus 5 over here. It's a 11 mark, okay? So where else is the marks given? I say maybe it will mix with another question to come up with. So possible for penyataan bank to be a bahagian B questions. Okay. Right, so guys, for today's session, we already completed what we need to do. That is the record tak lengkap and as well as penyataan bank. Okay, lucky for us that we managed to do it in time and we are actually slightly ahead of the time. We still have about 3 minutes. So now I would say I call it end for the seminar. But if you have any questions, you can stay and ask me now. Otherwise, then I will see you the next time if you're joining my seminar again. Okay? All right, so bye-bye for the rest. If you have question, you can ask me. I can stay. Okay. Teacher, in SPM for the CBD butiran, is it needed to write nombor check beside it? Okay, now this one, right, is actually not a requirement. But if you want to be safe, you can do that. Means you can put like this, bracket, nombor check 1053. No harm. Actually, you can write this, okay, no problem. But normally in the exam, they don't require this. It's not a must. But most of the school teacher, they might ask for it. So you actually, if you want to be safe, then in school exams, you put the number check. But since you already practice that, then maybe SPM, you don't purposely change that. To be safe, you write everything. Yeah, because SPM is only one time. Then, of course, you want to be safer, right? Teacher, when can I get the notes? When did you fill up the form? Normally, it would take a week time lah. Yeah, so if you just fill up, then maybe it will be next week that you receive your notes. A few days ago. Then you have to wait lah next week. But I think you can make it for your next session of seminar. Don't worry. Okay. Right. So I will see you guys the next session, and those that are attending my class tomorrow, see you tomorrow. Okay. Right. Bye bye. Take care. See you.